Pierre Coetzer, and Mouse Strauss, who is handling Dan Murphy, said if you see this man get off of his bicycle, Murphy, he is in trouble because Coetzer can come right after him. We pointed out briefly there before the introductions that against Jose Revolta, which Coetzer won in a 10-round decision in a tough one in Biloxi, Mississippi, took a lot of punishment in that fight. Again, dealt some out, but took some against Holstead. Will probably not take that kind of punishment against Murphy, but wants to deal out and get this thing over as quickly as he possibly can this afternoon.
I think St. Pierre's got to stalk this guy. There was a worry in the Coetzer camp that Dangerous Dan here was going to be brawling and sprawling. I don't think he's decided to take that route. As you said, he's decided to keep on his bicycle and run. I think the Coetzer legs might give out before the end of 10 rounds. I think that's unlikely. Coetzer is always strongly fit, a great fitness fanatic. I think it looks as though he's going to chase Dangerous Dan Murphy around the ring, trying to get in some of those good jabs and some of those good rights.
The always quotable Mouse Strauss in the Murphy corner said that outside of the ring, Dan Murphy is an electrician. If things aren't going well in the ring, he wires home for money. So be it. Another quote from Mouse Strauss. And Dan Murphy, quite obviously, at 27-6-2. A journeyman gets caught with a big right. An upper hand left by Coetzer, a good left hand. Murphy trying to get off the ropes and takes a left as he gets out of there. Good combinations by Pierre Coetzer as he caught Murphy on the ropes. And there you see that uppercut. That could be a big weapon. And the big right hand of Coetzer is starting to find some marks now.
Yeah, Coetzer in the early part of this round, Sam is able to tee up with that left and come across to that right. This is classic Coetzer.
Pierre, the only problem he may have in attaining his goal as a world champion is the fact that he does cut so easily. Murphy has not been close enough to even get close to smelling a cut on Coetzer right now, but that is a problem before Pierre's career would be over, and at 30 years of age, he is right now at his peak.
Although, to be fair to Pierre, Sam, if you go into the dressing room afterwards, those cuts, they soon heal, they soon go away. They seem to be kind of abrasions, grazes on his face, which look worse than they are when he comes out of the ring.
I think that's the only problem, though. It depends on what state you fight in. You fight in New Jersey, boy, the fight's over immediately. Once they see a stream of blood, it's all over. So it really kind of depends on where you're fighting and how much they feel the cuts are affecting the fight. So they may be minor in cut terms, but anytime there's a lot of blood, you can overreact in a lot of the states, which they do. I'm not saying that's bad because the safety of the fighter, and right now Murphy's safety is at jeopardy as Coetzer has got him trapped in the corner again, and this is where Murphy does not want to get. Closing seconds of round one coming on us.
We get a close look at Coetzer's face, Sam. He's got some real brownish type of powder around his face, I think, which is to stop those cuts coming. This is a special from Alan Tawil, his trainer. Well, at the end of round one there, a pretty aggressive round, I think, from Pierre Coetzer. The crowd getting up behind it. They've waited 2 hours to see, I think, some strong actions this afternoon so far. Pierre Coetzer, round one to him.
Well, indeed, he was the stalker in round one. By the way, they're still judging on a 5-point system here in West Virginia, unlike most of the areas where they do judge on the 10-point, and there is no even round. So there is not a 5-5 draw in a round. The judges, based on either number of punches, also the severity of the punches, have to decide which fighter won the round. No 5-5 rounds. And again,
let's have a look at this, Sam. A good left there, a good overarm left coming round onto Dangerous Dan from Pierre Coetzer. Good looping left. Coetzer listening very attentively. He's a fighter who listens to his corner, a bit like Brian Mitchell. They know they must listen to their trainer. They try and listen and don't go their own way. The guy outside has got as much to say as you inside the ring. Here we go then. Round two. Pierre Coetzer, Dangerous Dan Murphy.
Round two in the blue. Pierre Coetzer and Dan Murphy. They're scheduled for 10. These are the heavyweights in Williamson, West Virginia. Yes, the Hatfields and the McCoys, many of their descendants have filed into this Hallett Hall here this afternoon to watch these two fighters. Coetzer trying to protect his #2 ranking in the world and get an opportunity to fight the Tysons and the Holyfields and others. And how about Ray Mercer, a big 5th-round knockout of Tommy Morrison in Atlantic City to kind of set himself up for even bigger and better things in the heavyweight division. And one or both of those guys very much in line as a potential opponent for Pierre Coetzer, obviously, if he gets to this fight unscathed.
Watching here, Dangerous Dan Murphy, or the businessman Murphy, as he calls himself as well. He's not moving away from Pierre Coetzer's left. He's letting himself be caught all the time. He's moving the wrong way. Here we are, impaled on the ropes. Coetzer coming in, pushing the left, trying to right uppercut, right to the body, doing some real damage here to Dan Murphy.
Well, he's starting to sit out on the punches as well, and he's back on those heels and forward. And as Murphy turns, and the underdog welcome cheers from Williamson here. Two of the biggest fights for Pierre Coetzer, defeating former light heavyweight champion of the world J.B. Williamson back in 1990 in Biloxi in a 10-rounder. But even more than important than that, he stopped in the 7th round to heat James Pritchard in 1989. There are bigger and better fights still ahead for Pierre, and right now, at least Dan Murphy with a looping right hand is trying to at least make Pierre work for this one today.
Pierre Coetzer has also lost twice to Ozzy Ocasio and Bernard Benton, who are also world title holders. Subsequently, he fought them again and beat both.
Big right hand thrown again by Coetzer. Murphy, almost like a wounded animal as he lays on the ropes and then stings out with a right or a left hand. Coetzer may have figured out all the tricks and may not let that happen too many more times as we fight in this, the second. By the way, back to the scoring, it is a 5-point must system here in West Virginia, and obviously a 5-4 round going to Coetzer in round 1.
Well, no even rounds allowed here, sir.
None at all. The best imitation of World Wrestling Federation as they wrestle into the corner. Again, Murphy not so much on his bike as he was in round 1. He's electing to try to stand and fight a little more. And that is one thing that his manager, Mal Strauss, said he could not afford to do. As you see Murphy trying to stay on the bike as much as he can, a very methodical plotting. Pierre Coetzer has got him trapped in the corner again.
Coetzer, those body blows, those rights to the ribs there of Dan Murphy, they're going to tell in the end. Those clubbing blows, now he's coming back with some lefts. These are good shots here, Sam. These are good.
Round 3, scheduled for 10 heavyweights. Pierre Coetzer with his back to you and charging against Dan Murphy. Solid 2 rounds for Pierre, the number 2 ranked IBF and WBA contender in the world.
Well, this is the style we've become accustomed to with Pierre Coetzer the last 12 months or so. Used to be a very slow starter, Sam. 4 rounds, plodding away, putting that left out. The last 12 months, he's come forward with greater aggression, greater confidence, really going in, laying into his opponents.
Murphy is a 3-time Midwest Golden Gloves champion in the light heavyweight division, fighting at 211 here today. He did fight 8 rounds with Lennox Lewis. As a matter of fact, they said looked very good against Lewis. And now fighting against Pierre Coetzer this afternoon, and Pierre has had his own, and most of it's been right here in the corners. Well, those body shots are taking their toll. Murphy also may have just a slight cut over the right eye. Now he's helpless on the ropes and maybe
going through.
Murphy helpless on the ropes. It'll be a standing 8 count by the referee, Butch McNeely, but look at the cut opening over the eye, and I tell you what, Dan Murphy's in some trouble here.
Yeah, his eyes are very glazed there, Sam. He doesn't quite know where he is. He's bobbing around. Coetzer coming in, letting those lefts go again, coming in with those heavy rights to the body, trying to get the hands to come down here from Desperate Dan. We're going to call him Dangerous Dan. Murphy really helpless here on the ropes. I think the referee should really step in a moment. I can't see this going anywhere.
Murphy has got to throw a punch or two. It's all over, and Butch McNeely said no. Backs him up, and it is over. Pierre Coetzer has stopped Dan Murphy in the 3rd round. His 26th knockout of his career and his 38th win as a dejected Dan Murphy goes to the corner in a jubilant Pierre Coetzer across the way, very businesslike as he always is, accepts a congratulations from his corner and an opportunity to move on in further heavyweight activity. Well, it really was just probably a matter of time. Pierre again with Murphy outside the ropes, landing one last digging left hand, and this is where he got himself in big trouble. There's that straight left hand, and now watch as he tries to get the right hand over the top. Instead, he can't get it there. He digs it to the body. And again to the body. Murphy's starting to reel under these punches, and there's the body shots that you can almost feel here at ringside. Murphy is right in his own corner here, and accommodations by Coetzer. Another angle of it. You see Pierre coming at a lot of angles. There was the right hand. I think that was the punch that really did it. About 2 punches ago, and the rest of this is just gravy on the knockout here as Dan Murphy is just totally defenseless. The referee is being very benevolent here, letting Murphy fight as long as he can. That uppercut, he said, that's enough, and it's all over. And they do officially stop the fight here in the 3rd round with the TKO going to Pierre Coetzer. Let's get the official time of the TKO. Our ring announcer is Jimmy Walford and has the time. Let's go to him now in ringside. Let's go to Jimmy Walford now in the center of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by TKO with 1 minute